Hi and welcome. Hi and welcome to Office Fluent. It's great to see you here. Today I'd like to talk about one of the most important aspects of Microsoft Teams. You. Without you, Microsoft Teams is just, well, a tool without any content. But we need to be aware that Teams is a tool and nothing that should control you, but the other way around. So let's talk about the activity feed and about your settings. Let's go right in. Left. You have the activity feed. You can see mine is empty at the moment because I'm using an empty tenant for demonstration purposes. We will take a look at what will enter there and what should. Let's talk about the settings. If you click on your name or your company up here, the first thing you see is available. And you can change your availability to busy, do not disturb, be right back, appear away, appear offline, duration and reset status. I can tell you that your co-workers will thank you if you change your status based on where you are. If you do not want to be disturbed, do not be available. If you are available, don't be on do not disturb. If you want to be right back for a certain duration, you can set duration for the status you want, and you can set this to any amount of time. Click on done, and now you see I am away until 7 a.m. If you need to change this back, you can just click on reset status. You need to be aware that Teams is connected to your Outlook calendar. So as soon as you go into a meeting, Teams will automatically set your status to busy, or if you're sharing your screen during that meeting, you will go on do not disturb so that nobody sees any pop-ups from you. You can also set a status message. It's directly next to the status itself. And you can say, for example, hey, I'm on a workshop until 2 days. So that everybody, if you click on show when people message me, when they send you a message or when they add you in a conversation, they will see the status that you're not there. Which is very important because nobody will expect you to answer if you said, yep, I'm not here. And also here you can clear the status after a certain amount of time or never. The next thing I want to go over is the settings, which is quite important. The first thing you can see is the theme. Mine is set to default right now, but personally, I'd like the contrast theme. But actually, I've never seen somebody who said, whoa! So, use based on your preferences. Everything else you're seeing right now is also based on the defaults of Teams. I actually just reinstalled Teams to get everything on default. So, let's take a look what is useful and what not. When you're using Teams in a company, the AutoStat application is actually always useful. You're just not forgetting that Teams need to be started. And if you don't need Teams at the start of your day, you can just click Open Application in background. In this case, Teams will start here in the system tray, but also on close keep application running is very useful if you tend to click on the X to get rid of Windows. Because in this case, the app goes back into the system tray and does not disappear completely. Disable GPU hardware acceleration. I don't know why you would do that, but just keep in mind that it's there in case your support tells you, hey, please click on that. Also, register Teams as the chat app for Office. This only is useful if the whole company does it. Otherwise, you can just leave it unchecked. If you want the new meeting experience, in this case, all meetings are opening in a new separate window instead of within Teams, or if you like the old one where everything opens within Teams, it's up to you. I personally prefer the new meeting experience more. And finally, enable logging for meeting diagnosis. This also is something your support might tell you to click on, but it's not important for you. Down here you can change your language. So if you're not a native speaker like I am, you could change this to your language, especially the keyboard language overrides for keyboard shortcuts. I will actually set this to German because otherwise my keyboard shortcuts won't work. And last but not least, you can turn off the animations if you don't like animations, or your PC is very, very slow and you think you can enhance the speed of Teams. Let's take a look at the Privacy tab. There you have actually 3 things I think everybody should know about. The first one is Manage Priorities Access. If you are on Do Not Disturb, like I said, this is the default status you are when you're holding a presentation. People can still message you if they are here in this list, which is very empty for me. So if you, for example, have a manager to contact you at any time, you can set it there. If you don't, leave it empty. It will not help you if you put everybody there and then you get all the notifications during a presentation. On the other hand, you have blocked contacts. So blocked contacts will be unable to call you or see your presence. For them, you're always offline. This is very useful if somebody just gets to you over and over again with stuff that just doesn't serve any purpose. And it's just distracting you and disturbing you and getting rid of your focus. It's not worth it. Use it. And last but not least, the read receipts. I've turned them on. I also have turned them on in WhatsApp, but other people decide otherwise. So in this case, you can just think about the small notifications in WhatsApp. It's exactly the same here. And last but not least, by default, Microsoft Teams wants you to participate in surveys, but I don't want to. The next step is about notifications, and here it's getting important. In the past, Teams was very, very spammy. What do I mean? The missed activity emails were set on as soon as possible by default. As of now, it's by default off. Missed activity emails are getting sent with an overview of what you missed in the past, whatever you set. If you have it as soon as possible, you will get an email every time somebody sends you a message while you're not online in Teams. If you have it for daily, you will get 1 message a day via email where Teams tells you, hey, stuff happened. And then you can decide if you want to log on and take a look at it or not. If you have it off, you will just not receive any emails, which is the setting I would prefer if I was used actively. So if you're logging on to Teams every day, you will not need any missed activity emails. If your company is very rarely using the options, well, then you might need them. Also, you can play sounds for notifications. if you're easily distracted by notifications, turn this off. If you need a sound because you always miss them, turn it on. That's me, for example. And then you have these 4 edit buttons here. What do you want to receive when? And now it's getting important. If you turn on all activity and your team or the company is using Teams somewhat actively, you will not get any time in the day to focus on your tasks. So let's go through. Chat. Where do I want to see add mentions? I can say banner and feed or only in feed. What's the difference? Banner and feed means the feed is our activity feed over here. So every time somebody mentions me, it will pop up here. And this is a setting I cannot reduce any further. But I can decide if I want a banner, so a small pop-up every time somebody mentions me. And as our team is not that active with Teams, I'm actually letting it in this configuration. Otherwise, I might turn it down to only feed. The replies. If somebody replies to me, I can say, do I want a banner that I get a reply, or don't I want any notification? And here again, it depends on your personal preferences and on how many people actually reply to messages from you. And lastly, likes and reactions. Here I have all 3 options, banner and feed, only in feed and off. Personally, I don't need a banner every time somebody clicks on likes or sends me a haha. But we have said in the company that a like doesn't mean I like this message, but I have seen it. So if somebody gives me a like, it's actually useful for me to know that there is a like, because that means that the person has seen the message. So I go for only in feed. The next one is meetings. Meeting started notification. Yes, please give me a banner. If I'm not there already, I need the information that the banner is there. So, yes. Meeting chat notification. There we have an interesting option, mute until I join or send a message. So I can say, yeah, I want it unmute. I want to see what's going on in the meeting chat, even when I'm not there. Or I get any notifications of the meeting chat. Or only send me the notifications as soon as I'm actually there. Which I think is a great idea. Then we have people. Here you can simply add more people. For example, the coworker you're always going to work with in the morning, and you just need a notification when he's getting available. So you can add people there, but be aware, the more people you add, the more notifications you get, the more it's distracting you from your work. And last but not least, others. Someone you know joined the team. Actually, I don't care. But that's for you to decide. It's typically not happening that often. Alright, so that was, I think, the most important section of the notifications. Then we have devices. Here you have your audio devices, your speaker, your microphone. You can set your noise suppression. If you have a lot of background noise, you can, if you want others to hear the sound out of your boxes, you need to set it to low or off. And what is actually very, very useful is this one, the secondary ringer. What's this for? Well, if you have connected headphones or a headset to your laptop or PC, this is the default device you're using for meetings. This is also the primary device that will ring if you're getting called. If you're not sitting with your headset on all day, you would want to have a secondary ringer. So for example, the USB PNP audio device is my headset. I would add the high definition audio device, which are my speakers, as a secondary ringer. Get the ring even if I don't wear my headset. Alright, let's take a look at permissions. This is just typically what can Teams access on your device. In my case, it's pretty much everything, even though it doesn't need it. But yeah. And last but not least, calls. If you have a digital phone setup for your company, you get a lot more options here. For example, if somebody rings me and it's unanswered, I just have the options do nothing and voicemail. You can potentially forward your calls to your colleagues, or to a service hotline, Then you can configure your voicemail, and you can configure your ringtones. It's default by default, but I, for example, like Bob more for whatever reason. And that's about all the settings. If you have any questions about any of these settings, please leave a comment down below and I'll try to answer everything you have. And otherwise, if you got something out of this video, please leave me a like, or don't if you didn't. And see you soon with more videos about Teams and Office overall.